anything to approve, so.
No.
Okay.
All right, thanks, Jim. Yeah, we're good to go, Leslie. We got the
Okay.
thumbs up.
Sounds good. We're live.
Yes.
Wonderful. Okay. This is the Board of Selectmen interview subcommittee meeting for January 25th, 2022. I'm Leslie Rattan, a member of the Board of Selectmen, and I'm with Scott Rogers, also
evening.
Board of Selectmen. So this open meeting of the Board of Selectmen Interview Committee is being conducted remotely, consistent with Governor Baker's executive order of June 16th, 2021, an act relative to extending certain COVID-19 measures adopted during the state of emergency. All members of the interview committee are allowed and encouraged to participate remotely. The order allows the interview committee to meet entirely remotely so long as reasonable public access is afforded so that the public can follow along with the deliberations of the meeting. Members of the public who wish to view the live stream of this meeting may do so by going to Northborough Remote Meetings on YouTube via the link listed on the agenda. Ensuring public access does not ensure public participation unless such participation is required by law. This meeting will not feature public comment. Each vote taken this evening will be conducted by roll call vote. When I call your name, please respond in the affirmative. Scott Rogers?
Present.
And Leslie Rattan, I'm present as well. So what we're doing this evening is basically an extension of our interview subcommittee meeting of last week, where we interviewed Caitlin Crossan, Jennifer Martin, and Katie Cerrone for a partial 2-year term to expire April 30th, 2023, and we have one opening. Another candidate was not able to join us last week due to being ill and is here this evening, so we're going to interview her, and then we will be deliberating after that and determining the motion. Well, there will be a motion made, and then we will make an appointment in our next Board of Selectmen meeting in February. So if we want to go ahead and enter Shayla into the room, and okay, and Susie also.
Hi, everyone.
Hi,
Hey,
Susie.
Susie.
Susie's here as the chair of the Community Affairs Committee and is here to provide additional information so that the candidates for this position have all the info they need, and we can continue on with the interview. So, hi, Shayla.
Leslie.
Hi. How do you pronounce your last name?
Elidrus?
Eladrus. Eladrus?
Yes.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you. And is Shayla the correct pronunciation?
Yes.
Shayla. Okay.
I
Wonderful. Welcome. Thank you for being here this evening. Thank you for being able to join us here. So if you could tell us about yourself, tell us about your background and why you are applying for this position.
I'm a teacher by profession, and I have been a Northborough resident for, I don't know, past 23 years. I think it'll be 24th year this year. Excuse me. I have been part of a few committees in Westborough, but it's not fair that I live in Northborough. I've been an old, a Northborough resident. I said, it's time to, give to the community that I've been a part of for this long.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So tell us about yourself, though. What is your background, and what kind of experiences have you had that would enable you to serve on this committee?
I need to understand a little more about community, affairs committee, but I basically work with diversity, bringing diverse projects into the town, the schools, and the all aspects of town, and I like the cultural aspects, and then this in the whatever the programs there are in schools, and as a teacher, I believe in teaching through various activities. For example, if the town is having a cultural festival, just advising and helping out and bringing diverse group of people together.
Mhm, mhm. You mentioned on your application here that you have experience with event and festival planning and implementing. One of the questions is, have you ever served on a board, committee, or commission in Northborough? And what was that?
I have I've been a part of Northborough Democratic Committee,
Okay.
but as a volunteer, I have not served on any other committee in Northborough. We just had a festival in on November 7th at the Commons. So it was, we had 15 towns participating, and I think 14 different religions participating. So like different faith organizations.
Wonderful.
So it was great event. I want to bring something similar, similar to Northborough.
Mhm, mhm. Wonderful. That sounds fantastic. You stay here too. You're fluent in Hindi. I'm not even sure how to pronounce these other languages.
So Hindi, Telugu, and I don't know what else. I think I understand Punjabi. I'm learning Italian. It's not that great. I can manage. I have a student who speaks Italian, so I'm trying to say stuff to her, and then she starts laughing. She's like, "Oh, you know Italian?" So yeah.
Very nice background. Susie, if you could explain what your committee does and when it meets and what you tend to accomplish during your meetings and what you expect out of the members.
Sure. I was searching for my notes from the last meeting. My son took the Home Alone safety course a couple of weeks ago, and there was the pile of all the forms that we're going to fill out together with phone numbers and safety, sitting on top of all of my notes. So I apologize for rustling around there for a minute. So we are a 9-member committee that was started in the 80s by the town charter by Louise Houle, who our town cleanup is named after. And we were able to feature a great story about her last April, and her daughter actually came through our drive-through and we got to meet her. So that was really awesome, and hear more about her. Basically, we like to bring the community together, and we also focus, our focus over the past couple of years has been on giving back to the community as well. So our year looks like this. In February last year, we worked with the senior center doing a Valentine's Day card drive. It's a little different this year. They're not going to be doing the same thing. So we decided to start a kindness week, which I believe Leslie and Scott heard about last night, I think, on the Board of Selectmen. And we're starting out small because we don't like to overburden our members or the community either. But we're reaching out and we're challenging different groups in the community and churches and the schools. We're working with our superintendent, Greg Martineau. They're going to be doing something during the week, and we are going to have a kickoff on Friday, February 11th, with luminaries, bags decorated by community members, and working with the DPW on that as well in the town common. And we're going to be challenging, we're trying also an initiative we're trying to find all the nonprofits. So I'm going to do a little advertisement, all the nonprofits in Northborough, or if there's an organization that has volunteers, we'd love to make a list and maybe have it on the town website or somewhere, because people are always asking us, well, where can I volunteer? Can I volunteer for this event? Can I, and it would be nice to have something organized. So that's going to be one of our initiatives and goals from Kindness Week. In March, we hold Munchie Madness, which residents can enter by showing proof of purchase at a Northborough eatery. And the winners from a random drawing win a gift card of their choice. And we do this to boost the local restaurant and eatery business. And we did it during COVID because it was a long, dark winter last year. We wanted to boost them and help them out. And it was really popular and fun. Like people were trying all new places and the restaurant owners loved it. So we do that. And then I advertise for them on our social media. In April, we have the Louise Houle Town Cleanup. So you can volunteer and get the bags and the gloves, and we get donations for a breakfast and kind of bring the community together. Last year, per the Board of Health, we did a drive-through. This year, if we're allowed and the weather complies, I'd like to do an event where we have the garden club there and we have, the trails committee and different things so that we can help bring together all of these different groups in our community as well, in the spirit of Earth Week. June through August, we have the concert series. So these are a series of 5 concerts. We have booked some bigger names in the past couple of years, and that kind of has opened up who's applying. So we're getting all sorts of bands and it's really been amazing. So we're going to start, we're putting together the fundraising for that right now as we're getting our contracts in and everything. And we like to have food trucks come. I will say we did food trucks before they were super popular. And Northborough House usually comes too. In October, we started the jack-o'-lantern contest, carving contest, which was something that was also on our mind, and it was socially distant. Last year, we tried to have the stroll as well through the common, but Mother Nature didn't allow that. But we were going to have a local band come and sing, and we were going to have donuts from Tugas, and it was going to be fabulous. So hopefully this year we can have that. In December, we usually had the Neil Ellsworth tree lighting ceremony. And this year, because it fell during Hanukkah, and we've been trying to get a menorah in town since before COVID. I want to say 5 years, but I know COVID hasn't been that long. But we worked on that and the timing worked out. So we were able to add that to it easy to an event that was already planned and add a new aspect. So I'm not sure how to look next year, but we started it, and we started it on a good night, so that was great. We also have the Light Up the Town contest, which even now that we weren't as socially distanced in December, it was still very popular, and we invite people to decorate their homes and enter, and people can drive around. And it's a comprehensive list because I'm in different community groups in the area because I advertise for our concerts and everything. And people were saying, I heard Northborough has this list. Where's the list? So I would post it in other communities because people wanted to come here and drive around. So as I said, we like to, we donate to the food pantry. We like to do the food drives. We're looking for other business, nonprofit ideas for different events. And that's where we're at. We meet the third Wednesday of the month at 7 p.m. If allowed. Right now, we don't have a Zoom person for next month on a Wednesday, so it might be another night. But we get there, we share ideas, we have our creative time, and then a lot of the work that we do is, is like emails and texts, like, oh, you were going to stop in this business. I'm here getting a coffee now. I'll ask. So we do have a lot of we have to be a worker bee and not just idea bees, I like to say. Because we all pitch in, but we understand, I have a restaurant manager, I have a nurse, teachers, I chair other committees. We all have we volunteer other places, and we understand sometimes life gets in a way, or even COVID or family. So we try to pick up and help out, but everybody's very hands-on, and it's great. We just have fun. And I'm also going to do my disclaimer that even if you don't get the position, I would love for you to attend our meetings. When we do meet back in person, it'll be in the library, but we're always looking for extra help, or oh, I go here all the time, or I know this that's how we work. So did I cover everything?
The funny part is all the stuff that you covered. First of all, thank you, Susie.
Yes,
I have
you.
been part of all of that. And that's why I was shaking my head. I was like, I do get the list, and I do all the drive around the Light of the Town. I was there last year for the tree lighting. I was there this year as well. I just couldn't go on the other side. I didn't make it on time. So I stood right in front of the Northborough House of Pizza. I just wanted to see that. I have you name it, the restaurant thing I have went, it's like, oh, I did participate in all of those events. So, it is more or less like the work I am doing with Westboro Connects. So it is, it's called Northborough Community Affairs Committee, but it's Westboro Connect does the same thing. It's good that the Kindness Week is in February, because if I get the job, then I can. They moved their Kindness Week to November, so it's good. That's divided.
Well, we had someone interview last week who said, I don't think I can commit full time, but I'd love to be able to come to meetings and help too. So
Yeah.
I'm telling everyone we love having help.
Yeah, definitely.
I was talking to our liaison, our Board of Selectmen liaison last night, and she said, telling her, because I couldn't make the Board of Selectmen meeting, and giving her my update, and Kristen said, I can help too. I was like, okay, well, you're on the list.
Yeah, I can help.
You offer, definitely. You're on the list,
You can put me on the list. So
yes.
So Shayla, how does that meeting night work for you in terms of your commitment in Westboro?
Excuse me. Yes, it does. What I do is I kind of once this is set meetings, so which is good, and then when other meetings comes up, I can say, hey, this is a meeting date for me. Can you guys do it some other day? So yeah, it does.
It does work for you. Okay.
Yeah.
Scott, do you have any questions?
Yeah, I guess, Shayla, I hadn't been aware of Westboro Connect, so thanks for telling us about your work there. And is it was there any particular event that was done that they did that stands out in your mind that would be an example of something you'd like to see come to Northborough?
They do a huge MLK Day, and I think we can do something similar. So what they do is they'll get the Westboro Public School participate. The whole thing comes together. Westboro Connects, Westboro Public Schools, excuse me, Central Mass, Connections in Faith, Westboro Clergy, they all come together and they have a speaker and the children participate. So this year I insisted on having bilingual or multilingual children. I said, we need to have children say hello or have speeches in different languages. So they did do that. So there will be there'll be songs from the children, various group of middle school children or high school, and then there'll be poems based on MLK themes, and then they have a speaker, and then they break it down to then we will have table discussions. So two people can facilitate. For example, you and I can sit with the questions and ask the people, like if the town participates, it will be group of 5 people or 6 people. They'll be sitting, we'll ask questions, we'll have a discussion. And then end of the day, if time provides, this time we had it on Zoom, so we didn't do it, but usually in person, then we bring one of the facilitators will bring the gist of what was discussed just to the larger crowd. Gotcha. So I enjoyed that. I enjoyed bringing, it was like diving into diversity. It's not just bringing a little bit of diversity. It was like really diving into, because last month Westboro had, I don't know if you heard of it, a hate incident in Westboro High School. So they brought that question up too, as to how, because there were people from other towns participating at MLK Day, and they did bring it up that how we can change it, how we can change the whole structure, and what can we do as just a general human being. So
that sounds fantastic. Sounds like a very intensive project that went a long way, and just like you said, it wasn't a superficial attempt at just saying, yeah, we had an MLK event. You actually, there's a lot of things that happened with that. That's wonderful. Do you have any questions of us at all, or is there anything we can answer for you?
No, I mean, Susie, I think explained it too. I was worried. I was like, I don't know what I'm getting into, because if you've seen my resume, my husband says, what are you doing? Like, I am also part of Central Mass Connections in Faith. So I told Mark, I said, this festival I'm doing, this is the last thing I'll do on my own. After this, I'll be just a volunteer. You give me a chore, I'll do it. I'll sit down and no more. Because that was a lot. That was a lot. I mean, 6 months. Susie was, I was away from all those meetings at Northborough Democratic Committee, because you can't.
Oh, I haven't even been myself because of the PTO. The PTO's on
Yeah.
the same nights.
It was
So I
literally-
just email everyone and I'm like, I miss you guys, but I can't make it.
Yeah, it was a very time consuming. I had to chase a lot of churches and synagogues and, a lot. So I will not take on the task, but, I think this seems similar to what I'm doing, at both at Westboro Connects and Central Mass Connections in Faith. So even if I don't get the job, I will definitely help you out. And it's good to give to the community. Been here too long. I think Scott has seen my face for too long, I think, in this neighborhood.
Well, thank you. Thank you for offering to do that. We really appreciate that. Okay, so unless you have anything else you would like to add or ask, I think we're all set. The next thing that we would be doing is we will be deliberating on the 4 candidates that we interviewed, including you. And then we make a motion at this meeting to bring forward then to our selectmen's meeting in February.
Okay.
I wish there were more openings. I wish there was actually a bigger committee. It sounds like you need a lot of people.
We've actually thought about that, like investigating how to get like 2 more members, because if you're not an official member, you
Mhm.
can't vote, because we have an official town meeting, so we make a motion to to vote on the financial statement, the minutes, and then if it came down to bans, I think our bans were it's more of a discussion. We don't really vote on, in closing the meeting. So you wouldn't be able to vote on those things, but I was on the committee for about 6 months before I made a voting member. And it was just asking for donations and figuring it out, like Wegmans, you have an application and we have our number with them and that's fine. But sometimes we go into new businesses and say, do you want to donate, and just a small gift card to get your name on this event. So it's pretty much it. But the voting is basically the financial statement, the minutes, and closing is what I can think of, because you don't vote to open the meeting.
Right.
You just give the statement. Yeah. I was trying to think. It's been a long day. I've been an Uber driver for my children since 4 p.m. So. Yeah. I just go down Main Street.
I want to apologize for not being there last time. I was really sounding like a horse. It's not better yet, but I couldn't.
Oh, that's okay. That's totally understandable.
It happens, but we're glad we could reschedule with you within a reasonable period of time so we can get somebody appointed to the Community Affairs Committee. I don't want to wait too long for that. So
thank
you
you.
very much. We really appreciate your time, and it sounds like you've done a lot of wonderful work on all the things that you do. So thank you very much. Thanks for
Thank you for having me, and thank you for your time.
Thank you, Shayla.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Take care. Bye-bye.
So you guys.
Sorry, I just made a mistake. Sorry, Susie.
Okay, so
Sorry,
Susie,
Susie,
you're
I
still
clicked the wrong button.
Oh, that's okay. So you guys are going to have your discussion, right? I don't have to be here for the discussion, or do you want me here?
but if you have some input you'd like to give to us now, any thoughts?
Sure.
And then Scott and I can deliberate and go ahead with the motions.
I think all the candidates are wonderful. Like they were all wonderful.
Yes, they are.
And I did appreciate Jen saying this might be too much for me right now, but wanting to help. So that's great. And as I said, like, we're big on, we look for holes in our calendar and then try to add where we can, and then just keep adding on. And it's a lot of big fundraising and sponsorships. So that's my basic input. I know all of the ladies on a personal level in some way, if it's the Democratic Committee, if it's the Nativity Preschool parking lot, if it's soccer, it's like,
and it's good, but it can also make it difficult.
Yes. So exactly. I don't have to vote, but I think they would all be a great addition, and I do hope that whoever you do not choose tonight will still come and help us, because I've worked with all of them on different events and they're all, fabulous. Say, whether it be the PTO or, the Westboro Connect or, even your own business. I
Right.
think they all have a lot to offer.
I agree. And that's why I wanted to
Very lucky. I feel very lucky.
Yes. And that's why I wanted to pin Jen down last week, just so we're not continuing to kick her name around. But she sounded like she would be interested in helping, but not necessarily being able to take the time to attend all the meetings for sure. But
yes,
this is great. So
and I did forget, because we are going to try to do like smaller things. Like I know the diversity committee will become a real committee. So we'll be working on events to help them get going. The senior center, when Liz was here, we had discussed like adding on to some of the events that they do. And because we know how to plan certain things, we were going to help out and do things and use our PR machine to help. So I did put in a call to the senior center this month as well. But we're looking forward to, even if someone doesn't join our committee in a full capacity, if there's an area that they're interested in, I'm almost even envisioning like subcommittees, kind of,
That's kind of why I asked you about that, because there's so many projects that this committee does that I wondered that there were like offshoot subcommittees where 3 people work together.
Yeah, I mean, during COVID, it's been tough because we're meeting on Zoom, and we had to adjust. We really had to pivot and adjust and be creative because we still wanted to bring the community together. So like if we can't have everyone in person at an event, even though I do like to have someone at each event. So, the concerts, like, so the food trucks know where to park. So the bands know where to park. What if the power is not working? Stuff like that. But we are pretty good, but we don't really have subcommittees. Like I have my Wegmans person. I have the person that handles the bells for the tree lighting. I have the person that's in touch with the chorus at the school. So it's like, it's kind of like that, but we just
sort of, where people sort
yeah. But then,
that.
honestly, you stop in a new store, you get to talking to the owner, and now you have that connection.
Exactly.
So we all do pitch in with the fundraising and the donor asks and that. And I mean, as I said before, like this is my job. Like I go to the board of selectmen and give the report. Like not everyone feels comfortable. I don't mind. So me, I love a good meeting.
Thank you.
I love meetings.
So we'll go ahead and discuss. And
okay, I'm gonna jump onto another Northborough channel now for another meeting with your husband, Leslie. So
yes, I just realized that. It's kind of funny. It's I'm upstairs on Zoom and he's downstairs on Zoom in our freezing cold basement.
Perfect. Well, you can see my cheeks are red because there's like 2 heat vents in here and the heat is like kicking on right now and I'm like dying. But thank you guys so much. Let me know.
Okay.
Let me know how the discussion goes.
All right.
Okay. Bye.
Yeah, thank you. Okay. So yeah, we've got 3 fantastic candidates. Again, we have Jen Martin is not being considered for this because she was able to confirm that maybe now is not the quite right time for her to commit to meeting schedule, but she's willing to help the group out. So I just wanted to be sure about that before we, add her into the mix. So right now we will be discussing Caitlin Crossan, who we interviewed first last week, and then Katie Cerrone. And then just now we interviewed Shayla Ellicruz. So this is hard. It's always hard.
Right. We always have great candidates, everybody that steps forward and is willing to do this. The community affairs committee is a lot of effort, as Susie, mentioned, and always appreciates the extra hands. So for me, in terms of if we take Jen off the plate here, I liked the Caitlin expressed a little bit more limited availability herself as a nurse, so that's what I heard from that. So I'm leaning, or so then I kind of sorted more to the top, Katie Cerrone, and then now Shayla. I think, you know, my impression of Katie is that I could envision her being real action oriented, organized, great communicator, you know, really digging in and helping. And then I think Shayla brings, you know, an extended network of other events and the things that she's been involved with. And so for me right now, those two have sorted to the top in my consideration.
Yeah. Oh, this is difficult. It really is. Yeah, I know that Caitlin is a nurse, so she seemed very enthusiastic, certainly, and you know, was very happy that she's been able to attend things with her own kids in town, and really seems to enjoy that. But yeah, I was a little bit concerned about her schedule as well, and certainly admiring the fact that she's a nurse.
Yeah, and I hate to make it sound like it's a, you know, it's a disqualifying, you know, bit. I guess, you know, we run into that at times, you know, making some assumptions about, you know, somebody's availability and schedule. But I would have to go back and kind of listen to her words again. But I left our previous meeting with that impression.
Okay. Now, having interviewed then Katie and Shayla, Shayla certainly has some very interesting experience that I wonder about her being able to bring to the table with her background in Westborough and organizing MLK and doing a lot of event planning and having this background of event planning and such that she mentions, and also having attended a lot of the events in town as well. Wondering if she seems to have a lot that she could bring to this.
Yeah, and I like the angle that she had said about, you know, including different religions. Did you say 14 different in that one event? And then multilingual aspects. And so there were several, you know, dimensions there that I thought, you know, is a really, you know, rich tapestry, if you will. I think last night I used the stitching metaphor, so let me stay with the tapestries and the stitching. Yeah, I mean, I think there's some background there that you know, be really helpful. So, you know, if that's I'm leaning towards Shayla as the top candidate and kind of my ranking that I put together here.
Yeah, I have to say so too. I know Katie's great too. You know, there's a lot of enthusiasm and just her experience too is also wonderful. But it sounds like she would hopefully be able to help out as well. And as I explained last week, and you know this as well, there is, whether we like it or not, there is turnover on these committees. When you have a committee of 9 people, some things arise. Somebody moves, somebody has a different job, and they just can't commit to the meetings. And so maybe they have to drop out, and maybe they just attend when they can as a helping kind of a person, but not necessarily a formal member of the committee. So my guess is that within the next year or so, something else is going to open up, and I would strongly encourage all of these people to apply again.
Yeah, have been involved and then be in a position to step into an opening if it occurs.
Exactly. But I'm really just taken in by the experience that Shayla has. She's a teacher, just all the languages that she speaks, and just, you know, lending a lot of diversity really to this, and
Oh,
the
good.
experience that she has over in Westborough really is fascinating. I like the idea too of having that connection with another community and learning more about what they do, because you also wonder if there could be something done that involves more than just Northborough.
Right. Or and just even be aware of being aware and not to set up scheduling conflicts. You know, maybe we can, you know, draw from some of their public, and you know, they can draw some of ours. So I think that connection would be good as well.
Yeah, I think so too. So I at this point would be, it's tough because they're all good. But if I had to pick, at this point I would recommend Shayla.
Okay. Yeah, I agree on that. So let's make it official.
Okay.
I'll move to recommend the appointment of Shayla Eldrews to the Community Affairs Committee. That ends up being a partial 2-year term to expire in April of 2023.
Yes. So it's about a year and a half or so. So I will second that. Do we have any further discussion?
I think we're good. I do have one general point to make after our vote.
Okay. All right. All those in favor? Scott?
Aye.
Leslie, aye. Wonderful. Okay. Comments, Scott?
Yeah, I'm gonna pivot on an item you brought up last night during Board of Selectmen, since we might have a different kind of viewing audience here, and since we're in the interview subcommittee, is just to repeat that we have many open vacancies for boards, committees, and commissions here in town. So I'm going to run through the list again, just in case someone hears a board or committee that sounds like it's something they'd be interested in. You can then apply based on the information on the town website. So we've been talking about the opening in community affairs. There's also an opening in council on aging. There's 5 vacancies on the cultural council that's having their meeting later tonight. A vacancy on the earthworks board, vacancy on financial planning committee, 3 vacancies in the historic district commission, vacancy on the library board of trustees, 1 in municipal code and bylaw committee, 1 for the registrar board, 1 on the scholarship committee, and 1 on the trails committee. So you've got a full range of financial planning, open space and outdoors, and historical and cultural items, as well as some municipal government bylaw and whatnot. And boy, I wish I had the background to be on the earthwork committee, because I'd like to be able to push some dirt around with the bulldozers, but that would be super fun. So just an advertisement for those open positions for anybody who's interested.
Perfect. Thank you very much for doing that. And I want to thank everyone who interviewed for this, and for all committees that we've interviewed for in the past and in the future. And we thank you very much. And we will bring this, there will be a motion then made at our next selectmen's meeting, after which time Shayla will need to get sworn in by Andy, so that she can, the town clerk, Andy Dowd, so that she can vote at their meetings. So thank you very much. I think we're all set. And thank you, Julio, for hosting the meeting. We appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks, Jim. So I will move that we vote to adjourn.
I'll second that. All those in favor?
Aye.